Guys, Mechanite here, and it is time for the trilogy to be completed. I said that last time because I finished the starter trio, but what do you call it when there's 4 of them? It's not a trilogy, it's a quadrilogy? Quarterly? Quarters? Quadruplet? A quadrupler set? Anyway, we are starting off with the Gigantamax grass starter. And I'll be honest, to me, this one feels the most like a Gigantamax. The other two feel a bit like Mega Evolutions. But in my region, we don't just also have Mega Evolutions. I mean, Gigantamax forms. We also expanded upon them. Just like with Megas, Gigantamax forms can now change a Pokemon's type. Now, it won't do this with Dynamax, but only with Gigantamax. Right now, I'm adding the head, which is going to be pretty much entirely covered, because that's how perspective works. I'm going for Gigantamax Alcremie vibes with this design. Huge, towering over you, not necessarily big, just tall. And that's why I made it, absolutely take up the entire room I had for drawing it. And it's actually much bigger than it looks, which is scary because it looks pretty big. And right now, I'm giving it leaf wings it had in its other one on its floating hands, because fairy type is sometimes associated with magic. But this guy isn't fairy type anymore. Yeah, remember I said Gigantamax forms can now change the type? Grass dark type. Gyarados can become a dark type, so can this dude. Right now I'm giving him wing tufts against that bit, because just as a nod to the wings he had before. But yeah. And now I'm doing the Gigantamax thing around their neck, because before now I thought the Gigantamax thing was always at the highest point of their bodies. Turned out I was wrong. A lot of the Gigantamaxes have it at their belly. So I guess I was wrong with that, and yeah, that is the Gigantamax bit, and now I'm just colouring in the face. It's going to be an entirely different colour to the cloak thing, because they are separate parts of the Pokemon. And now we're just colouring in the leaf. Again, a different colour to show that this Pokemon's true body is hidden. Oh, spooky. And the no-lot starter Pokemon only grow one part of them when they Gigantamax. But personally I don't really believe that. If you have a look at the Kanto starters, it was obvious with the Gen 8 starters that sort of they were doing, but with the Kanto starters it's a bit less obvious. So that's what I did with these starters. This Pokemon, the main thing that's grown is its wings, because they were just a cool little detail in the original. Made it look more like a fairy type, but now its wings make it look like holy. Its wings the #1 part of its design. And a weird part about Gigantamax forms is they're all shaded from above, like they're standing on a light. The sun, it's night time and they're standing above a light. They're lit up from the bottom and they've got a shadow on the top part. It's really weird and really unique. And I quite like it because it helps Gigantamax Pokemon to feel like their own and not just bigger forms of regular Pokemon. Because then Gigantamax may not exist. It might as well just be Dynamax the whole way through. Right now I'm colouring it in again with this shading nitpick. That's usually a bad thing. With this shading technique. And yeah, right now, again, an entirely different colour to the main head. The main head is like a how do you explain it? It's like an autumn green. This one's got like spring, summer body, just to show that they are different parts of its design. And now I'm just continuing with the shadow quite gradually, so that it's not noticeable but most Gigantamax shadows are a lot noticeable. That great sentence format. Well done. Yeah, a lot of Gigantamax forms, the shadows, they're clear, so I do change it in the final art just to make it look like a bit more like an actual Gigantamax form. And I know, probably a lot of people probably left the channel by the final start video, saying that, no, why Gigantamax forms? Come up with your own unique thing. If Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire can have Mega Evolutions, then this game can have Gigantamax. Might not be spin-offs or recreations like those, but I don't care, okay? This is all for fun. Just fun. We are having fun here. I am just giving art tips. Okay? This is not going to be a real game. Maybe. I don't know. But I do not believe that this will be a real game. Unless one of you fans out there is really devoted and, I don't know, creates a ROM hack or something. Oh, they're going to hate me for including Gigantamax forms, especially when it's all sprites. I don't know how that would work. Anyway, yeah, it's all pixel art, it's all sprites. I don't know how they're going to get big. Anyway, so, yeah, probably never going to happen. But, so, and this Pokemon, as you can now tell, it is much brighter at the bottom than it is at the top. I'm also adding a shining bit because light still works as normal. It's not like a Pokemon becoming Gigantamax breaks the entire world's light physics or something like that. Yeah. Again, going for Gigantamax Alcremie vibes, where it's just like a massive tower, towering above you, which I guess is a bit weird. Because the water starter, they're all based on chess pieces. If you don't know, the water starter is the castle, and this one's the queen. Queens live in castles or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that could be a theme between the three. They change their chess piece. It was totally not intentional. And, yeah. I added a berry at the bottom. Mainly just because, it's a dark type. It wouldn't be holding the berry and, squashing it. Just, tasty fruit going everywhere. No. It would release, poison gas from this fruit. And its signature Gigantamax move would be something like Max Berry Bomb or something like that. Max Springtime. No, that don't work. Gigantamax. I don't know if I call them Max moves or Gigantamax moves. I'm just gonna call them Max moves. Max. Berry Bath. Max Berry Bath. And just no, that doesn't work. Max Berry Max Berry Bomb. Yeah, no. No, it's hard to think of names that have alliteration. Because alliteration is cool and I want alliteration. Max Food Fury. Max Berry Bonanza. just like the berry at the bottom starts spewing toxic gas. And then like this Pokemon, it just like creates a massive berry above its head, throws it at the opponent, and like maybe it can like stick them in place so that they can't leave the battlefield ever. Gigantamax forms were already broken. Like, yeah, that could work. It could be like sticky, like honeycomb peril, max berry. Or how about like max harvest? And like it throws a berry like max harvest. It creates like a bunch of berries below it. When the opponent attacks it for the next 5 turns, it'll also lower their speed because it's like really sticky. And maybe also their like physical attack will be lowered as well, just because like I don't know, like their hand is covered in goop, so like they can't hit it as hard. Maybe. Yeah, I guess that sort of works. It's like a status move. I don't know if any max moves are status moves, because I've not got Sword or Shield. But, I mean, to be fair, my favourite out of the two is Zamazenta, because, like, holding a sword is weird, but having, like, a shield incorporated into your design, that's cool. Right now, I'm about to move on to the wings, as you can tell by me doing the hands. Like I said before, this Pokemon feels the most like a Gigantamax form out of the 3. I've added a bit more like luscious colours, just so that it's not entirely dark type. Like it is a dark type now, but just so it still feels like the same Pokemon as before. I made it like a turquoisey bluey green. That wasn't intentional. I'm making this a bit similar to the water start now. This wasn't intentional, but I mean, I guess it works. They're both based on chess pieces and all that. And now moving on to the leaf. And just like the tufts of hair bits, the leaves will be a bit more luscious to show that it used to be a fairy type. It's still the same Pokemon. It's not all dark, autumny leaves. And I imagine the shiny for this Pokemon is like autumn colours. Well, same with the regular ones, except maybe not Sleef. Because Sleef is like, it doesn't really have plants. It's just like green fur. And it can control plants, so maybe that guy just has like red. Because maple leaves. Maybe just like brown because real soft colours and tree bark or something. I don't know. I haven't settled on the design yet. Or anything like that. But these wings, unlike the body, will actually get lighter as they go up, I'm pretty sure. Because you need contrast. You can't have everything be the same thing. And like I said before, with not making your designs complicated in the other videos, I talked about materials a lot. With Gigantamax forms, you can sort of throw out of the window. They can be made of multiple materials, like this one, skin, leaves, berry. Well, I guess I still followed the rules there. Like most Pokemon designs, maximum of 3. Like, even the god of Pokemon Arceus only has, like, its skin and its ring. Alright, let's think of a more complex legendary, like Zamazenta. It just has the shield, the fur, the skin part on the face, and that's it. I don't think any Pokemon ever goes past 4 unless it's a Gigantamax. Like, take Gigantamax Snorlax. Its body, its grass parts. It's tree, and then the berries on the tree. And that's 4, but it's not that obvious that it's 4. Like, I guess Gigantamax still follows the rules as well. But with Pokemon like Gigantamax forms and Mega Evolutions, you can sort of, like, it's hard to explain, like, be out of the normal, like, with their designs. Like, Pokemon have a nice balance of cute and cool. Some Gigantamax forms and some Mega forms are just straight up scary. Or just straight up, literally just a fairy type. I don't know. And I think this design is almost finished. And I remember I forgot to mention the Firestarter's name in the video before. I'll remember to do it in future videos. I won't forget. But his name is Nouster, Knight and Jouster. And here is the finished product. I think it's quite successful. Probably looks the most like a Gigantamax form out of the 3. Now we are moving on to the Firestarter. I think if this was a horrific attempt by me to make a Firestarter that was like, I don't know, like looking up in the air. It looks horrific, and I never want anyone to see that again. I'm probably going to delete this video just so no one sees that horrific drawing. With the Firestarter, Nouster, well, the only thing I really wanted to change was its jousting hand. Its jousting hand was like a rainbow unicorn horn, and that works because fire, horses, unicorn, like, yeah. But I wanted one on both hands. I wanted them to be one of the focuses of the design. And as you can see, for a bit I struggled on the body. I wanted this guy to be like, dare I say it, I wanted this guy to look like a firefighting type starter. Oh my god, this video is going to have more dislikes than viewers. But yeah, I wanted it to be like a firefighting starter, because Ember shouldn't have been firefighting. If they really wanted to make Ember, they should have made it fire ground. And like, yeah. And like, Ember should have been fire ground, and then no one would have been mad at Incineroar being firefighting, because Incineroar's cool. Like, I'm one of those people who says Gen 5, like, people hate on it when, like, they really shouldn't. It's not as bad as people say it is. But I will admit, Incineroar shouldn't have been Fire Dark. It should have been firefighting. And then both should have been fire ground. And I actually have my brother, Funny Cheese. What was I going to say? His favourite Pokemon is Incineroar. And so I've grown to like it a bit more. Even though I've said this in multiple videos. My favourite starter, not just Firestarter starter, is by far Infernape. I've said it in a ton of videos and I'll say it again. It's always going to be Infernape. Infernape is the GOAT. And for this Pokemon, I made it look a bit more evil. And I sort of like exemplified the obsidian metal bits. Like, it was obsidian coloured. And then I tried to put like Primate's anger mark on its like muscles to show that it's strong. That didn't really work. I kept trying though, and this one I feel it sort of works. This Pokemon, Gigantamax forms, I'm a bit interested in like the more evil side. Like for Mega Evolutions, if you read their Pokédex entries, Sableye, a gem rips out of its body. Like, Sharpedo, I don't know what happens, because I can't remember. Like, Mega Glalie, its jaw snaps, it can't eat. Like, I wanted to sort of show that with this. Gigantamax has, taken over not just its body and its anatomy, but also its personality. Its Pokemon is now egotistical. It thinks of itself as the best around, and it's going to be the very best like no one ever was. But this Pokemon, instead of being like Ash and just wanting to become the very best, it thinks it is the very best, and it always will be. It's the best, no one can be better than it. Its personality changes along with its design. And that's what I wanted to show here. But for a while, the colours, I couldn't really decide on. This colour for the furnace bit in the middle, it worked, and it worked for the helmet as well. But it's the steampunk smoky bit that didn't really work. I wanted this Pokemon to look less medieval, its design advances along with the time age. I want it to be steampunk, factory, and I think I succeeded with that in the end product, but it was hard to get, because it was really hard to get the colours right for this steampunk bit right here. It was really hard and really annoying because I thought it would be a cool colour, and then I was like, metal doesn't really work in that colour. And this Pokemon, it doesn't change its type. The grass starter changes to grass dark. This Pokemon stays fire steel, but its max move, well, first of all, blue flames, because, of course, that's aura, and this Pokemon's aura is all Pokemon's thing is its personality, and that's aura, I guess. And this Pokemon's max move, I'm thinking something like max ego, maybe. It boosts all of its stats until its health, it doubles all of it. No, that's too overpowered. It boosts all of its stats until it goes below half HP or something. Another idea I had was something like max flaming aura, and it basically just throws a blue fireball at the opponent. The furnace on its stomach starts going blue, and it just launches a flamethrower of blue fire. Probably just a damaging move, with an 100% chance to burn, or maybe just a chance to burn and a higher critical hit rate than normal. I don't know. And another idea I had, this Pokemon, its design, unlike the other, is quite broad, so it can really work with a lot of max move concepts. And maybe it could have max jouster. It gets its two unicorn horn jousting things. It stabs the Pokemon with one, and then they go on one becomes blue fire, stabs it with that and then hits it with the other, and it's guaranteed to either do a critical hit or burn the opponent depending on the Pokemon's health. Critical hit if it's above 60% health, but if it drops to below 60%, and it's a guaranteed burn instead. I don't know if that would be too overpowered. Like, or maybe it could just be like aura flame, and it literally just like surrounds itself like max aura, just like max flaming aura, like, and it just literally boosts its stats. Maybe it's probably the least creative of them, but maybe it could also, like, I don't know, boost the chances of like critical hits, multi-hits, and like stats effects for the next 5 turns. I'm not sure, maybe. Alright, here I'm making them rainbow colours, just like the others, but these ones a bit less vibrant because like it's got an ego. But originally I did them wrong because they were overlapping and I got a bit confused, so I had to redo them. Yes, they are the same colour, mainly just because, like, for consistency's sake. One does have more colours than the other, but does it really matter? Like, this Pokemon, they don't care. Like, it doesn't care if, like, it gets hurt or its armour gets, like, dented or anything. All it cares about is winning the battle. And, I mean, yeah, it doesn't care if it's, like, uneven, asymmetrical, or anything like that. All it cares about is, well, winning. And I guess that could be like a special max move or something, like winning aura. And, well, onto our water starter. Hi guys, Mechanite. I know why I'm doing the intro thing. I was split up to multiple. Anyway, we are doing our final water starter right now, and the main thing that it is based on is kaijus, like Godzilla. Think Godzilla. I've basically turned this water starter into Godzilla, so that's fun. The part that I wanted to sort of make a bit more subtle with this design is the castle. It wasn't very obvious in the first one, so I did obviously add to it. But the main focus will now be something else. For a long time, this part, the head, really challenging. Really challenging. Because I wanted this guy to be chill, but angry. Okay, that's like opposites. The head was very complicated. I lost my mind a bit. And with this one, I wanted to make it... not really, like... I didn't really want to... I want to make it look evil. More evil than before. And before it wasn't planned to look evil, but it did. So this one, it's planned to look evil. And it absolutely does. Yeah? Yeah, does that make sense? Speaking of which, there will be something that I am adding to Gigantamax, because I don't think the Pokemon Company would ever bring something back without, like, adding to it. Like, if they ever brought back Gigantamax forms, they'd obviously add more. But I'm going to introduce Gigantamax forms that don't have the Pokemon's original typing. People might say this is the same situation as Megas, where it basically only works for certain Pokemon, but I say, shut up, this is cool. And still, I mean, it's not like it's going to make it overpowered. Okay, yes, it is going to be overpowered, but that's because Gigantamax was already overpowered, so I mean, how much more overpowered can it be? Right. Okay. None of these starters will change our type, because I feel like that would be a bit too weird. Despite maybe the fire one become Fire Fairy. That doesn't really work, and I don't think it would fit. So, no. We'll just leave it how it is for the starters, but I will be introducing some that change the type. Maybe, like, give it a type that fans want. If I make a Gigantamax Hypno, and it could maybe become a Dark type. Fans want that, right? Or maybe I'll do one for like Flygon. Everyone, literally everyone, wants something for Flygon. Most of the time, a Mega. But still, Flygon is cool. People say like Garchomp is just a better Flygon. And honestly, I agree. But Flygon, why did they give Garchomp a Mega Evolution? Should have given one to Flygon. Like, imagine, it could be the first Bug Dragon type. Is there one of them in Gen 9? I honestly don't know a lot about Gen 9. Cool though. Pokemon I've seen are cool. Right now I'm just colouring the castle elements in so they look like a castle. And I did what I did with the others, and what all Gigantamax Pokemon do, and done a bit of a weird thing. The shadow is on the top part. Like there's a shadow above and the lighter bit is below. It makes all the Gigantamax Pokemon feel more powerful than their base forms, which, I mean, it makes sense. They are. And, I mean, I think that's why they chose, like, red for, like, to add red to a lot of the Pokemon's colour schemes. Because, like, it's a very imposing colour. But the shadows on the Gigantamax Pokemon are actually, like, very obvious. It's not very subtle. Yeah, that's not very good with my other designs, but it's obvious enough. Right now I'm adding a bit of a more green colour because I'll be honest, the grass starter looked a bit blue, so it could be an unintentional Easter egg. I mean, one basically is a dark type, this one is basically a dark type. And the other one's a fairy type, so I guess it sort of works, even though this one's rock type. Speaking of which, a cool max move, I think, for it could maybe be like Max King. Or something like Max King, like Max Basilisk. Just Max Water Sprint. I don't know. Max Tidal Wave. Or maybe since it's based on Godzilla and it even has like the spiky glowy uppy bits, and can be like Max Oceanic Focus. Yeah, Max Oceanic Focus. It can like it paralyzes the opponent because like, yeah, the energy bit, and it also boosts all this Pokemon stats, and maybe like boosts the power of water moves, or like makes it rainy. Yeah, it will only boost attack and special attack because like otherwise it'll be a bit weird, but it also makes it rainy because water. Rain is made of water, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah, rain is made of water. I know my science. I don't actually know. It's like rain. Is rain made of water? Or is rain water, or is it made of water? I guess you would say it's water. But I mean, made of water. Would you say it's made of water, or would you say it is water? Well, that one's a hard one. Might need to help me on that. And with this Pokemon, it's very important to the story. I mean, it's not going to be like you fight this Pokemon as a final battle. It would just be unfair on the other starters. But I mean, all three of them are important to the story, to be fair. You're probably going to use them. Assuming you don't do what I did with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and just quit halfway through. Honestly. was a good idea to quit halfway through. I know people say it's not a very good game, but I feel like people say they're worse than they are. Like, yes, they're not the best, but I think like people would have been okay with them. Like, people would have seen them as average Pokemon games and not abominations if if Legends Arceus didn't come out and totally overshadowed them. I'm not saying Legends Arceus is a bad game. Better than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but it's either the redemption for Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, or it's the reason they need to be redemptioned. What would you say? I'm not very good with my grammar today. Clearly. This design would probably change the least from the regular one. But I mean, look at Gigantamax Eevee! Like, the first time I ever saw it, I thought it was a Dynamax. That's how bad it is. I'm not saying Eevee's bad. I mean, I did choose Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I'm not saying Eevee is bad, I'm just saying its Gigantamax is bad. I know they probably wouldn't have changed it too much, because, it's one of the mascots, but still. Imagine if Gigantamax Eevee was just, in the fur, you can see, the stones that it uses to evolve. And, in its max move, it just, it summons all of them and, wraps itself in, a grass cloak for Leafeon. And then, freezes over, burst of fire from Flareon turned into water, Vaporeon. And, lifted up with psychic powers in the moon, just freezes it. I guess that's too many Glaceons, because there'll be 2 Glaceons. And then it bursts out, and the Eevee is, really cute. So, Sylveon, is that all of them? Oh, Jolteon, I forgot Jolteon. And then it summons lightning. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about Jolteon. It's one of the coolest ones. Overall, with this design, I'm very proud of it. Something I might change is just making it so that the colours on the belly energy and the other energy match, because it looks a bit weird.